Hi Beata, thanks for submitting your question. Um, Look at training as a lifestyle, especially when you have a puppy who is going to be, you know, learning so many different things, what works, what doesn't work, just life in general. Every day he's or she is growing up, it's a different set of experiences, and it's basically filling its behavioral repertoire with all these possible choices that the dog can make. And then eventually, those that are practiced most often will continue to reoccur most often, right? So a dog who has practiced to pull a lot will pull a lot. Or a dog who's practiced to run off will run off. A dog who has practiced to come when you call him will come when you call him. But it's not just a matter of spending a few training sessions to work with your dog. It's a lifestyle. It's doing it through every situation, every scenario, in every environment you can possibly work with your dog in to create the most reliable response. So recall is one of those life urgent behaviors. Every dog needs to know what a recall means, and they must understand it for their own safety, as well as a dog who understands a recall and responds reliably is a dog that you can give more freedom to, right? So having a puppy like yours, it's actually very easy to start this off. Using the method that we do at Doglando and what you have already learned through the pre-canine class, every time you call your dog, reward your dog, okay? Think of your relationship with your dog as a relationship bank. How many times have you called your dog and it has earned a favorable experience to the dog, whether it's a reward, whether it is something that the dog really wants to do. And sometimes it's not even about a food or treat reward. It could be just the opportunity to go back to doing whatever the dog was doing, okay? And how many times have you called the dog and ended that opportunity? So calling your dog from play and then putting the dog on leash and removing the dog. Calling your dog at a dog park and then putting the dog on leash and going home. Calling your dog from being outside and then you have to leave to go to work, so you put your dog in a crate. So how many times has this happened when you call the dog, and how many times has this happened when you call the dog? From your dog's perspective, what is the outcome of a recall? I always say make a very conscious effort that, especially when working on a recall, it is favorable to the dog. The favorable response to me is the dog coming into me. The favorable response to the dog is making sure that the dog understands it, that I'm not going to end it from doing anything, but I'm going to give the dog the opportunity to go back to whatever it is. Now, granted, sometimes I might not be able to give that opportunity, but more often than not, I will. While working on the recall, make sure to start off at home within the indoor confinement, and then make it like a hide and seek game. Go into different parts of the house, different rooms, call the dog into you, make it a big deal when the dog comes. A great way would be to utilize the dog's meals, breakfast and dinner, playing this game so the dog, number one, wants to eat, is interactive, and it finds it fun to work for his food. And then once the dog understands this concept within the house, take it outside. When you work the dog outside, it's always a great idea to use a 6-foot or preferably a 30-foot leash, where if the dog makes the wrong decision, you can just step on it. Now, once you've stepped on it, don't pull the dog into you. Step on it and prevent the dog from going any further, and then force the dog mentally to come into you, meaning make it very exciting and force the dog that running off is not going to be an option. You have to come into me. It might take 2 seconds and it may take 2 minutes, but make that dog come into you. And again, it's not by pulling the dog in, it's the dog wanting to come into you. Try those and see how it works. Working on a recall is a lifestyle, like I said, and it's a continuation process. So there's a lot you can do to work on this exercise that will increase its level of reliability. But start off with this.